And this is a question to whoever's out there watching. First of all, welcome to our first live on YouTube. The question is, how can you secure the bag when you're hanging on a string, right? If you're used
Mm.
to that whole struggle life and you used to robbing Peter to pay Paul, we're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about that in today's conversation. Welcome to Self-FULLness MATters, where we take self-care out of the box and engage in conversations about all things wellness. We're going to give you practical solutions on ways to abundantly invest into your wellness account so that you can give from your overflow. And
Mm.
I am Coach Robin Renee, proprietress of Alpha to Omega Holistic Therapeutic Services LLC. It is a wellness lifestyle brand with a mission to educate on natural care for mind, body, and soul, encourage mindful movement, and empower you to be well. And I am so excited for our conversation today. We are here with money expert Cecilia Bailey, and I'm not going to introduce her because I want her to tell you what she wants you to know about her. And it's on you.
Oh, well, thank you, Coach Robin. Yes, so I am Cecilia Bailey. I have been in the financial education space for over 20 something years. Started when I was about, 10. And and so I have had experience working with people individually. I've had experience working with people in groups, also in the nonprofit sector, in the corporate sector, as an entrepreneur. So personal finance is just kind of my jam, is what I do, for a living. And it's actually, what I like to do for fun. I'm a money nerd. What can I say?
That's good though, a money nerd. You hey, look, you know how to secure the bag, and that's what we're going to talk
Yeah.
about today. How we are going to secure the bag. So, I'm just gonna say, let's just start at the beginning, right? So, if you
Mhm.
got somebody who, like I said before, they're used to struggling, and they are used to whenever I get paid, all my money goes to my bills, right? I don't have anything
Mhm.
left over. And it could be someone who's making a substantial amount of money, but the money management may not necessarily be there. So, one, we'll talk about budget. Another, how do you save when you're too busy paying your bills?
Mm. Yeah, well, you said a lot in that one statement. I learned a long time ago that just because we make good money doesn't mean we make good decisions. And it doesn't matter at whatever income level you are. I feel like everybody should have some kind of strategy, some kind of outlook, some kind of perspective of where they want to go. And the foundation of that is really going to be centered around, what do I want my life to look like? So if you don't have goals, your goals may be different than mine. My goals may be different than somebody else. So identifying the things that are important to you and then building from there. Now, as it relates to a budget or a spending plan and those kinds of things, I feel like, people get to choose whatever you want to, but you have to have something written down. If it's not written down, it's just like numbers floating around in your head. It's like, well, I know what my bills are doing. I just kind of pay them. It's like, no, there's something about the accountability to yourself, to seeing what it is, and to be able to say, okay, yes, I paid that. I met that goal. I achieved that savings goal. I paid that debt off. So, however you want to do it, I don't have a bona fide plan for what works for everybody. I know what works for me. I have a little book. I didn't bring it before me today, but I have a little book that I got on Amazon that charts out every month. I'm rewriting those things. And so writing for me helps me to remember. It helps me to stay, accountable. So that's what I'll say about that.
Okay. Well, I want to share. Can I share about how I
Yeah.
started saving money?
Yes.
Well, right? So, how I started saving money as a kid. So, this is back in the 70s, back in the 80s when the designer jeans were popular and the penny
Mhm.
loafers and the bucks. All those things were popular back then. So, for me, if it was something that I wanted, I would get an envelope and write the name of whatever it is. That first pair was, well, actually, I got the Glory Vanderbilt as a gift, but the first pair I bought was a
Mm,
Calvin Klein. It was
mm,
Calvin Klein, right? So I write that on my envelope and I save my money. If it's $2 a week, if it's $3 a week, until I get the amount, because I wasn't a layaway person. I didn't want to have somebody hold my stuff and then I pay you and you still keep my stuff. That didn't work for me.
Mm.
So I would use
Mhm.
my
Mhm.
envelopes, and then my envelopes, that was the dollars. And then I had my mason jars with the change, and then we moved up to the Crown Royal bags. Come on now,
Mhm.
yeah, we moved up,
Right.
kept the change in the purple bags, the purple
Right.
bags, and then all of that went into a shoebox. So that was actually my bank, right? And I didn't touch
Wow.
it until I got to, whatever the amount was that I needed, even including the tax. Like I
Uh-huh.
said, for me, I didn't like layaway. That just did not work well in my head. I didn't like layaway.
Mm.
So that was my first savings plan.
I actually like that. When I think about the cash method and the envelope system, I think about the opposite. And that is actually setting a specific amount aside for that thing so that you don't go over budget. Like, let's say for groceries, for example, right? I'm also a grocery nerd too. Like, I like grocery shopping. Everybody don't like grocery shopping. I love grocery shopping, right? So you have your list, and if you've got your debit card, you go in there and it's like, I'm just going to swipe, 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 and forget about if you putting it on a credit card trying to get points. You really go swipe, swipe, swipe. You get Doritos and Cheetos and everything that's on the BOGO, right? But if you have that cash envelope set aside just for that, when that money is gone out of that envelope, now it's like you just gonna have to figure out what to do with these green peppers and that ground turkey and whatever else you got to make it work because you're out of grocery money. But I love, love, love that idea of having a goal in mind and actually putting money in the envelope for that. So, okay.
Yeah,
I
that was my
like
first.
that.
That was my first
Yeah.
savings plan.
And
I didn't
but
know it
sometimes
was.
we have to go back to those tried and true methods that work because we in a world where everything is advancing and all your stuff you get Apple Pay and Google Pay and Tap and Pay and all these things, but sometimes the simplicity of what we did as kids, we need to bring that back. We need to bring them old school methods back to today.
Yeah, and it works.
Hmm.
So what would you say about paying yourself? Like, how should you pay yourself, or should you pay yourself, or should you just pay your bills? Like, you got bills, but should you still
Hmm.
pay yourself if you got bills to pay? That's the question. Should you still pay yourself when you got bills to pay?
Hmm. Yeah, I think it's a great habit to get into is to paying yourself first, if that's what you mean, like saving something, regardless to what the amount is. I don't care if it's, excuse me, $1, $10, $100, or whatever. That habit then becomes non-negotiable when you begin to earn more. But if and there may be seasons in people's life where you feel like, I can't afford to save. I can't afford to put anything aside, for myself. But I would just say to people, just try to do the best you can. It doesn't matter what the amount is. It is the action of actually putting something aside, saying that this is what I deserve, this is what I worked hard for, and then everything else will line up to that. And then sometimes we have to make some adjustments in those spaces. I'm by no means saying to neglect the people that you owe, but to pay who you owe and then just prioritize saving and investing for yourself, and then making sure that you are paying your bills as responsibly as you can. Hmm.
Okay.
And talk to
Oh, I
people,
and I got
like,
another question. Go ahead. Go ahead. I
yeah,
got another
like
question.
if you owe somebody, and I'll be 100% transparent, I've got medical bills. I don't like paying them. But me and TJ, we got a relationship. I call him, he with the agency. I'm like, hey TJ, yeah, let me just figure out. So how many I got with you now? Okay, cool. So I'm gonna put something on this right now. And then in 2 weeks, I'm gonna call you back. Collectors are happy to get your money. It doesn't matter who they are, right? And so it's like, don't be afraid to call and negotiate a payment amount or a settlement amount or a payment strategy with somebody just because you figure, they're going to ask for all of their money. Well, you ain't got it. So don't worry about giving them more than what they ask for, but just have a conversation, with people around that. And you'll find that, folks will be nice. All people who on the other end asking for your money are not mean people. Yeah.
Okay. And that flows actually into my next question
Mm,
about Gen Z and these college debts. So now we have kids that are
mm,
going to school, or either they're apprehensive about going to school because when they come out, they have so much debt, but then they don't get a job. Either they don't get a job at all, or they don't get a job in their field, and they still owe all of that money. So what would you say
mm,
to Gen Z, just even regarding preparing to graduate or even preparing to leave college, because some of them have even had to leave college, but you still owe that money.
Yeah, now that's a good one, Coach Robin, because wow. I think the preparation needs to happen before they even make the decision. I think there needs to be some realistic conversations around what a person wants to do with their lives, and then you align that with the occupations in that field. It sounds really simple, right? You say, well, if it was so easy, everybody would be doing it, right? Um, I was a fashion design major because I knew how to sew. That's my first degree, right? And so I'm like, okay, well, what you gonna do with that? I'm gonna be the next Donna Karen. I'm gonna be. I wasn't even interested in it from a creative aspect. Once I finished school, but had I known prior to that, I could have gone into three or four or five or six other things outside of retail, then that could have worked out differently, for me. So I think the conversations need to be had, and students and young people, they need to have some experience, like immerse yourself in that field that you're interested in. Try to find somebody you can follow. Some people, I want to be a lawyer because I like arguing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't
Yeah.
know if that's the right motivation. And you might find a space in there where that actually works for you. You know what I'm saying? Or I like helping people. It's a lot of jobs you can do that can help people. You know what I'm saying? But just finding out, how do I make the connection with the salary, with the occupation, with my real interest? There are tests out here that you can take that will help you to determine what you're naturally gifted to do. It's like an aptitude test. So I would say, for parents, invest in that. Invest in something like U Science to identify what is this kid naturally good at, and are they leaning towards that? And here are all the fields that they can go into. Now, if you are, one of the things that we didn't know in school is that you didn't have to take all of the money that they gave you. It's like, oh, well, shoot, I thought since they gave me, I applied for that and they gave it, I so take the whole amount. No, you just take what you need and then, send the rest back. And so understanding, how does all of that work? And sitting down talking to a counselor before you take out the loans. Because it's easy to sign on that line. Now, and I'm not sure how all of it works today, but I think parents have to co-sign
I
on a lot of the
think
loans
they're the
now.
guarantor. Yeah, I think the parents are the
Yeah.
guarantor. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Ooh. Baby, let me tell you, I would be the guarantor, but we're gonna have another guarantor over here with some
Right.
understanding. Like if you don't finish school or what have you. But yeah, it's. I think those conversations need to be had up front and be realistic about what you can do and what your potential is to earn that. Even if you have to leave the state that you're in or travel someplace else, then go where the industry is that's going to serve you best.
Yeah, and then that's also another, I'm just going to say, issue with parents and Gen Z students. Like, you have some Gen Z students for now. Like, now social media is big. There's
Mm-hmm.
actually curriculum in social media management, social media business, like the business of social media. But
Mm-hmm.
you'll have a parent, like, somebody from our generation, be like, "You're
Mm-hmm.
not going to school. We're not paying all that money for you to use social media." But it's an actual need for that. And so
Mm-hmm.
for parents, and especially we're talking boomers, we're talking Gen Xers, and even some millennial parents, have this whole I'm just gonna say hesitation, a lot, not all,
Mm-hmm.
but a lot have a hesitation or nervousness about allowing that child to go into a field that they will prosper with. Like, when I talk to kids that I mentor, I ask them, as opposed to saying, well, what is your passion and what do you love? We eventually get back around to that. But what I'll
Mm-hmm.
ask them is, what is it something that you would just do and you would just do on your own? If one day you don't have anything to
Mm-hmm.
do and
Mm-hmm.
you do, some say I like to draw, some say I like to create video, like that, and then we'll go from there in terms of that being your passion.
Mm-hmm.
But parents, and I've even talked to some of the parents too, to have them to understand, even sharing from my personal experience, my daughter went into interior design. I ain't know nothing about that. I mean, I knew the business
Yeah.
stuff, but I knew the way she was and how passionate she was, and I knew how focused she was in terms of getting things done. I'm like, okay, let's explore this, right? The
Mm-hmm.
deal
Mm-hmm.
is, we don't pay for C's, and we definitely don't pay for C's out of state, right? So if you decide you're going somewhere, you want to get a C on your grade, you coming back home, right? So that, but
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying? Like, that was a brand new field to me
Yes.
for me to be
Mhm.
able to be open enough. And I could have easily said, well, you've dominated language arts and English since
Mhm.
2 years old, 3 years old. She could have easily went to be, an English teacher, or something like
Mhm.
that in the language
Mhm.
arts, because that's what
Yeah.
she was good at, but that's not what she was passionate about.
Correct.
And that's
Yeah.
where it made the difference. So I'm just saying, like, for parents, I do think
Mhm.
that it's important for parents to, and then have your kid to give you back their plan. Like, they may actually have a plan instead of knocking it down, saying, I even had one parent, she knows who she is, and she's happy now. But one of my cheerleaders wanted to
Mhm.
go into dance. She wanted to go into dance, and her mom was like, wait, what is she going to? I'm like, just listen to her. Hear her out. Hear her out.
Mhm. Mhm.
And she's one of the, I think she is the top, if not one of the top choreographers at Northern Illinois University, right? So
Mm.
her mom, allowed her to go and do it, and she's dominating. I mean, she's
Yeah.
the choreographer made for major productions, and so she was able to express herself instead of going into
Mhm.
business. And yeah,
Mhm.
she'll learn the business of it, but there is a space for her in the arts. And if you're
Yeah.
not a performing artist, that's the whole, I learned, that's a whole nother world. And if you're
Mhm.
from the business world, our brains just don't operate the same. And you
Yeah.
got to let them thrive. You have to
Mhm.
let them thrive, in whatever industry it is.
Hmm. Yeah, and I think too something important that you said is, you set a boundary in terms of what you're going to pay for as well. And so it's like, I will invest in you as long as you are getting A's and B's. You know what I'm saying? And so that's giving them a responsibility that you have to do this. You do your part, I do my part. You know what I'm saying? And so that again is giving ownership back to them to show how passionate are you about this and how much are you willing to put into it in order to convince me to pay for it.
Exactly. So, what do you think about kids paying for part of their college education?
We did.
I know, right? Exactly.
All I can
Hey,
say is we did. And I'm gonna tell you, I have, I don't know. I don't know. I might need some therapy behind this, right? But it's like when I see parents, it's like they just paying like we're in the retirement stage of our lives. You know what I'm saying? And so we could be. There's no guarantee that them kids gonna take care of you. None of them.
right,
None of them.
right,
And so it's
right,
like, and Susie Orman would say this, right? Because I don't think she has any children, but she's just like, listen, take care of yourself first. Them kids be on their own. And so,
right,
I feel like I don't think they understand the privilege of that. Is because we just didn't have that. Our parents were like, "Well, here are my taxes. Figure it out." I don't know FAFSA. Oh, no one. Just listen, fill it out, and just hope for the best. Take out loans for what you don't where you're short. And so, I feel like if there should be some level of responsibility. People would disagree with me, and that's fine, right? If you have the money to pay for it, fine. But I don't think that people at our age should be struggling to put their kids through school if there's another way for them to do it. They have scholarships and all that stuff at their fingertips. We had to go to the library, get the big old thick book. At the Carnegie
right,
went to the library, understand, figured out, how you're going to apply. Do I qualify? Do I have enough money for stamps to send to all these places? Typing up letters when they can cluster these things and have so much money, even like once you like sophomore, junior, senior in college, the scholarships are still there. If you go out and find the money, you can find the money. We know we have relatives who pay just like a chink chink chinko, tiny bit of tuition because they have put in the work and the effort to go and go and get the money, go and secure the bag for college. So
right.
and I think that it also makes the student a little bit more uh you know
Invested.
invested. And now it's like failure is not an option because this is
Hmm.
money that I'm spending or money that I'm accountable for. I remember we had the plus loan, and my mom, she was paying like $50 a month. We was then I was paying $50 the next month. Back then that was a whole lot of money, but it was like, we in this together. Like, I'm gonna help you, but you're gonna help yourself first. So yes, I believe in students kind of paying that way.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that about Susie Orman, because one thing she said that stuck out to me was, she said, think about it. Even as parents, we want to help our children, and we put ourselves in a better financial position to be able to help our children.
Hmm.
She said, but think about you working for as long as you work. And like you said, you're in your retirement state, but you're
Hmm.
going to give a 19 or 20-year-old your retirement. And I'm like, you know what? She said something right there. She said, Think about what you're doing. You're trusting a 19 or 20-year old with your retirement.
Ooh,
It gave
child.
me a totally different perspective. She said, if you think
Mm-hmm.
about it, they have 30, 40 years to go. You're at the end. So if they
Mm-hmm.
blow your money, remember, they blew it. They don't even have a job, so they can't come and help you out. Right. I was like, okay, Susie, I'm with you.
Right.
It put it in so much more perspective for me because
Uh-huh.
she was like, what kind of sense does that make? You're gonna give a 19 or 20-year-old your life savings, like, and you're
Mm-hmm.
gonna trust them with your life savings.
Mm.
And I don't think parents look at it like that. At least at that time, I wasn't
No.
until she said it. But then after that, I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, my friend Susie Orman said, "Don't give you my money." She said,
Right.
"She
Yes.
said, let you figure that out."
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I think sometimes, it's fear, it might be guilt. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I mean, because I'm not a parent, right? But I just feel like, if I had kids, it would be those things that our parents enforced inside of us, helped us to become the people that we are today. You know what I'm saying? So whether it's independent, whether it's responsible, whatever it is, and that came from seeing them probably do work that we didn't want to do.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And or seeing them make ends meet in a way that we can say now, it's like, oh wow, I see why mama did that. I see why, she knew how to put a pot on. She,
Right,
you know
right.
what I'm saying? And all the things that went around that, we just figured like, oh, okay, this is cool. We love your chili. We love your baked spaghetti, your neck bones and rice and all that stuff. But we didn't know that this was out of necessity. It was called budgeting. It was
Hmm.
called a spending plan. It was called planning, going to the grocery store with a list. So that we were intentional about what was prepared and that we had everything for that. So yeah, those old school methods, need to come and stay alive in
Exactly,
2024.
exactly. So can you share what "put a pot on" means? I love that. I love that concept.
Yes, 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 yes. So, my mom is, bless her heart, bless her heart. Um, I don't know, our parents, they just say things that you don't really think a whole lot of, as an adult. And so we were growing up, it was like what, five of us in the household, with a host of cousins. And so any given day, you can have somebody else coming through the door. But putting a pot on is really just taking what you have, at your disposal. So, in your pantry, in your freezer, your refrigerator, and you are making this thing work. If it's a pot of chili, if it's a pot of stew, if it is some neck bones and rice and neck bones and white potatoes, whatever it is, it's like this pot is going to feed your whole family. And it doesn't matter, no, it's not like, like a five-course menu. It might be 5, 15 things in that pot, but nonetheless, it's going to feed your family. And as I got older, and because I don't have a big family now, the put a pot on goes right over into the freezer ministry. Now the freezer ministry is, we're gonna take what was in that pot, that chili, that stew, that whatever it was, and we're gonna put a couple of bags, a couple of bowls in the freezer for another day. So that we don't feel like, oh, this food is going to waste, because the way the groceries are grocerying right now,
Hmm.
inflation is inflating. And so I don't have money to waste. I don't have money to throw away. And so it's just being resourceful, and responsible, in my opinion. And like I said, I like cooking, I like grocery shopping. And so these are things that, I love to do. And it helps me now. When we were talking the other day, I had two pots on. I had
Right.
a pot of I had a pot of chicken and noodles, and I had a pot of cabbage and sausage on the other end. So it's like, listen, and that's gonna last for a few days, and that's gonna be what that's gonna be. And some going in the freezer, to the freezer ministry.
Right.
Okay,
Now my mama used to call it "all I fix it up."
I'll
She's like,
fix
"All
it
I,"
up.
and I used to be trying to figure out how to spell it. How you spell it? It's like, what is that? And she said, all I got is all I'm fixing, right? So it's like all I fix it up. So so it's the same as putting the pot on, but it was all I fix it up. Like all I got
I'll
is all
fix
I'm
it up.
fixing. And that
Oh
was
God.
like a miracle, because she had
Oh
5 mouths, to feed, and you have to
yes.
think about when you, as an adult, when you look back, like our parents were like miracle workers, and we didn't know.
Yep.
Like we didn't know. It was like this is just regular. You just don't go without eating. And then you have
Exactly.
So now what you're talking about in terms of money, so we
Mm-hmm.
are making more money, but like you said, we're not making better decisions just as a whole, as a society as
Mm-hmm.
a whole.
Mm-hmm.
We got the influence of, social media, we got advertisements. Because for us, we come from we Gen X, y'all. We come from the you got McDonald's money. Like we come from that generation. No, we ain't going there. We got all that stuff else.
Right. You got
That's the
McDonald's
generation.
money. Yes, that was it right there.
We
Yes.
ain't going no if it ain't somebody's birthday, somebody's
Oh no.
graduation. Like what you
Mm-mm.
going to the restaurant for? And the true thing is, our parents
Precisely.
cook better than the restaurant anyway. I'm just saying,
Yes,
my mama had
absolutely.
a whole culinary degree, so it's like, yeah, I mean they
Right.
could cook, they could, and they from the
Okay.
south. So yes,
Yes,
yeah. So
absolutely.
but as a kid, you don't see that. You're like, well, I want to go. I want to go to the store. And I
Mm-mm.
want to. Go to the restaurant. And I want to get food from the restaurant. She's like, no, we got that at
Mm-mm.
home.
Mm-mm.
We got that at home.
Absolutely. We sure do. Them Eddie Murphy hamburgers, you know.
The green pepper burger
Yes.
with the onion.
With the
Let me see if
onions,
we
all
got any
that.
comments. We got any
Yeah.
comments, Regina? Okay, thank you. That's our engineer, y'all. That's our engineer. So we fancy, over here. So let's talk about fashion. So you mentioned that you were in the
Mm,
fashion industry, and so now we have, once again, like I said, all these influencers or all these things that we see, and people want to buy, 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 buy. But
mhm,
then there's this capsule wardrobe concept, right?
mhm.
So how would you tie fashion into your finances living in today's world where you can still thrive and you can still be fly? Like, how do we?
Ooh.
Yeah, right. You ain't gonna starve. You're gonna be cute and full.
Yes. Well, let me tell you. So I love a good capsule wardrobe, right? So I have a rule of my own. I have a closet, and I learned this from an older person years ago when she was helping me to redo my closet, and that was it was things were kind of like stuffed in there, right? Like I just had like just like a lot of stuff. And she said, "There's no room for anybody to bless you. There's no room for anything new to come in." And I was just like, "Huh." So from that one comment, my closets now I've always kept them so that there's always room for something else, right? So that's one thing. The second thing is I learned this from a little 11-year-old girl at the time. Um, Only buy what you love.
Hmm.
If you don't love it, don't buy it. And I'm
That's good
sure that
stuff.
she was 11. And her thing was like, well, you didn't love that. Like, why did you buy that? I'm like, shut up. Anybody asked you, right?
Oh
So,
my God, that's good. That's good stuff.
yes. Yes, so you can go through your closet, right now. I mean, not right now, but, after this. And you can look through and see things that don't fit you, don't fit your personality right now, don't fit your lifestyle right now. Anything that doesn't fit in those categories, anything that you don't love, and just kind of just dispose of them. Or as Marie Kondo would say, and I love what she does when she's redoing people's closets, right? She is like, you thank that item for what it has been for you, and then you give it to somebody else,
Mm.
and like, with good energy. There was a girlfriend of mine, who I had this black Coach purse, and this black Coach purse was nice. It was very nice. Like I bought it for myself, and she would always talk about, girl, honey, don't forget to leave me that purse in your will or whatever. And I had actually put it in my will. And then I came home one day and I said, why am I waiting? Like she loved this bag so much. Every time I carry it, she asked me about it. So I gave it to her. She was like, you all right? Yes, I'm fine. I don't plan on dying, but no, I'm just going to give this to you because you love this. And so we have so many things that we might be attached to or that's a part of us where somebody else may be blessed in its usefulness, but it's just hanging in our closet, just collecting dust, whatever. So going back to that capsule wardrobe and finances as well, if we have that kind of lifestyle that allows us to have a minimal amount of things in our closet, that could work for us, right? Because it's stress could be stressful. Ironing your clothes, even though I like ironing my clothes, every week, the stuff that I have to iron. I know some people are like, girl, you gotta iron and iron, but yes, I
Woo.
do iron clothes, right? Because I like a crisp white shirt. You know what I'm saying? I could send it to the cleaners, but then I got to pay the cleaners.
Correct.
So, you know,
Right.
looking at your lifestyle and what you do you would realize that there are things that you could be saving money on because your lifestyle doesn't warrant you to have a closet full of suits right now, or so many, pants that don't stretch, um, whatever that is. And so you could be saving money in that area, and you could also be, excuse me, feeling good and confident in just a fewer pieces than having just like all of these things just because the closet has that much space in it. You don't have to take up the space just because the space is there.
That makes sense. That makes sense. I learned a system from Reverend Harvey Carey. Shout out to Reverend Carey. This is when he
Mm-hmm.
was still at Salem, in Chicago, and he did a sermon on the, I don't want to get the title wrong, but it was basically like the perils or the danger of overabundance is what it was. That's the
Mm.
gist. That
Mm-hmm.
was the gist of it.
Uh-huh.
That's not his exact title, but he had all these black trash bags, up on the podium with him, and he was just
Mm-hmm.
explaining how if you pull 5 bags out of your closet, you can go to sleep and wake up and you won't miss it. He was like, "Cause I guarantee, like you said, them pants, those skirts you got on now, so tight, your closet is the same way." So
Right.
he gave the concept of whenever you bring something in, you take something
Mm-hmm.
out,
Absolutely.
and that was you got a little feedback. You got a little feedback. Hmm. Yep. So and
What
that
about
so that's
now?
the con. Yep, you good. So that was my concept, and that was what I started doing. That was like, ooh, maybe 15 years ago. It might, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
either close to 15 or 20 years ago. And for
Mm-hmm.
me, it worked so well. And then one, it keeps me balanced in terms of whatever it is I'm looking at or thinking about buying. It's the same concept as the 11-year-old told you. Like, do you really love it? Because I'm thinking, if I bring this back, what am I willing to take out? Right?
Absolutely.
And then guess what? It ain't even that cute no more. Like,
Precisely.
it ain't even that cute no more,
So
right?
it's not even that
Or
cute.
or or you look at the price tag, it ain't even that cute no more. It's not. And my mama used
Right.
to say everything that is for sale will be on sale. It's like you don't have to get it as soon as they put it out. If it's for sale, it'll be on
Mm.
sale.
I
Yeah,
like that because I go straight to the sale rack. It's just
me
something
too.
about, I don't know. It's like I don't know, my financial religion. It's like I just don't like to pay full price for stuff.
It's
You know what I'm saying?
psychological for me. Yeah, even if it's
Yeah.
your regular price, put a yellow, orange, or red tag on it. You give me to look at
Something.
it. If
Yeah.
it's a white tag, I don't want to see it. I'm good. I-
Right.
if it ain't
It's got to be
something
a
on
colorful
there,
tie.
you got a line through it or something like that. Like, yeah,
Hmm.
it has to be that way. And I think it is psychological. But of course, advertisers, they
Yeah.
do know that. They know that.
Hmm.
So let me check in.
Yeah.
Do we have anybody? Engineer, Regina? Okay, Chrysantha, if you are on here, I want you to make a comment. Just say hello because I think she was joining. Chrysantha and Tamika were supposed to be joining us live.
Okay.
So let's talk about. Our topics are about all things wellness, right?
Hmm.
So we want to talk about how does finances or lack of or mismanagement of affect your health. Like people don't think that it affects your health when it comes down to money matters. It actually does. It affects your health.
Well, we'll first start with stress. I think that people who struggle in that area, just like with anything else, uh, you think about it, you overthink, you avoid it, you might do something unscrupulous in order to get what you need, and so not having some kind of control, some kind of plan, in place, some kind of budget to help manage your finances can be a stressor, and we know what stress can do to our body, right? It can, you know, wreak havoc on our blood pressure. You know what I'm saying? And so that could cause heart attacks and all kinds of things. Anything else, stress can do to you what any other thing in your life does when it relates to stress, or whether it's money, relationships, or whatever. So this is one of those things that we can control. We have somewhat control over this, especially if we are, you talked a little bit earlier about like the more we have, the more we spend, the income creep, right? So we make more money, we get a bigger car, we get a better car, we get make more money, we get a bigger house. Then it's like, oh, I got this big house, I need a house cleaner. All these things begin to add on, as our income begins to go up. My girlfriend T, we talk about this all the time about living within our means. And But society, the pressures of that, the pressures of what we see on social media and what we see everybody else doing, and we always taking pictures of the food at the restaurant, and oh, here, and I'm on this vacation and there, and it's like you want to share in a way that inspires hope in people, um but a lot of times people don't know the difference between that. It's just like, oh well, they're going there, I should go there too. They're doing it,
Mm-hmm.
I should do that too. And so now we are um, trying to live like the Joneses and the Smiths, and and all the other people, and then that creates this stress, for us, as opposed to saying, let me just write down and just see what I have. I remember years ago, I was talking to a friend I used to go to church with, and she wanted some help, with her finance. I'm like, sure, I'll help you. I said, well, you got to write everything down. She was so terribly afraid to write down and actually see it. I said, I promise you, it's probably not going to be as bad as you think it is. A couple years later, I ran into her and she was like, girl, I did what you said. I just wrote everything down and I just started listing it and just calling people and paying them. And then that encouraged me to go back to school and get my degree and such and such, because I knew I wasn't making enough money. And that was part of the reason why. But until we see it, we can't face it. And I just
Mm-hmm.
be like, once that thing becomes very clear to you, then you will then say, okay, now let me figure out how to strategize around this, instead of it swimming around in our head, creating that stress, knowing that I got to pay this, that, and the third, but I'm not doing anything about none of it. And I'm just gonna go on out to eat and take a picture of my food and post it on post it on the internet. You know what I'm saying? Just forget
Exactly.
it out.
Exactly.
I'm gonna get some
Exactly.
scrimps.
So I want to take that on the flip side with your
Mm-hmm.
wealth, your wellness, your finances, right? So let's take it to the other side as to how
Mm-hmm.
can we be creative? How can we make our self care and how can we invest into our wellness account
Mm-hmm.
creatively without spending a lot of money, right? So we think
Mm-hmm.
about I want to go to this spa. Like you said, when people post stuff and then they're posting and they're at this island. Well, I'm one now. If you follow me, hit the hashtag Tales from the Trails, you'll see them places that you see when I'm by the waterfalls, when I'm out there at the beaches, they are right around my house. And a lot of people
Mm-hmm.
don't even know. They're like, where did you find that? So be creative. Our state parks,
Yes.
I'll say if you haven't, start with the national parks. Let's bring it on down. Start
Yeah.
with a national park. If you have a national park near you, a lot of them have campgrounds, a lot of them have cabins, a lot of them have programming, and you'll pay to get into a national park. You can spend the weekend there. And so the money that you would have spent on an island, you go to a national park that's full of waterfalls. So one of
Mm-hmm.
my goals, I'm going to get down to the Garden of the Gods in Illinois, it's like downstate Illinois, and there
Mm-hmm.
are all these different waterfalls. So if you look that up, and it looks like you have totally go like you thinking that's Illinois. Yes, dead smack in the
Wow.
middle
Okay.
of the country. Yeah. So start with the net. I bought a whole book. I was so excited. I know the people in TJ Maxx was like, "Why are you so excited about this book?" I got a whole. It's a big, giant, colorful book of all the national parks. So I'm like, "Bam,
Oh,
bet, yes."
sweet.
So all I need is my post-it notes. Like I'm going here. I'm going
Mm-hmm.
yes. And it
Yes.
gives you all the different things as far as the amenities and everything. So that's one way. So if there's
Mm-hmm.
not a national park near you, look for a state park. There are some
Mm-hmm.
state parks. Now, there may be a fee to get into some of the parks, but then they also have days where they're free. So just look up your national park
Mm-hmm.
or even just go on, the internet and see what are the free days. Because like I think like National Hike Day, take a hike day, you may be able to get into some national parks or some state parks and you'll get into them free. So take it down to the state parks. One of my favorite state parks, at least where I am here, is in Indiana. It's West Beach, right? It is beautiful. They have this I don't know how many stairs over there, but it's like it's about 400. Anyway, but it's some stairs. It takes you down to the beach
Okay.
and everything. West Beach is beautiful, and it's right in Indiana. It takes me like 20 minutes to get over there, and you're out
Mm.
on the beach. There is an interest fee. Last year, I think it was 45, maybe 45 and $50. That was for the
Mm-hmm.
year.
Oh
And
wow.
so for the whole year, right? And so when you
That's
pay to go
good.
in those places like that, you don't have. I ain't gonna say you don't have to worry about. You have less to worry about in terms of shenanigans, malarkey, and foolishness, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because people who came through there had to come through a gate in order to get there.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Mm-hmm.
also,
Mm-hmm.
like at our state park with the organization that I'm with Girl Trek, we did the clean up the trails day one day, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we brought a group out, and everybody got a trash bag, and we all got in free, right?
Mm.
So
Okay.
and it wasn't no trash. We was making up trash. Like it wasn't really no trash. Like we all had trash bags. It was like, put this in your bag, put this in your bag, so they can see everybody cleaned up something. But it was
Right,
like
right, right.
you know,
There you go,
and
trash.
because people do have a different perspective when it comes to something that you pay for. And so my point
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting to is when you
Yeah.
start investing in your wellness, that's an
Mm-hmm.
investment in your wellness, and your investment doesn't have to be financial, it can be time. And if you
Mm-hmm.
say, I'm a big proponent of blue spaces, it is scientifically proven that you go in blue spaces, it changes you, on a
Mm-hmm.
cellular level, lowering your blood pressure,
Mm-hmm.
increasing, the usability of oxygen, in your body, right? It,
Mm-hmm.
it clears your mind. You can even just park your car in front of a body of water and you
Mm.
are gone somewhere else, right?
Yeah.
You can
Mm-hmm.
shout out to Andre 3000, baby, that new blue sun. If you put that on and you sit in front of some water, it's like that's like one of my favorite things. Since his project, do they call them CDs or albums? What do they call that? Projects. Is it projects?
Maybe projects.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
since that came out,
Mm-hmm.
anyway, but yeah, I love it. So you can do
Mm-hmm.
something like that. So say, for instance, if you went to a spa, somebody treated you to a spa, you like
Mm-hmm.
the things that were at the spa. Take a picture. We have our phones everywhere. Take a picture of whatever the services were that you got. You can go home and you can recreate that. And
Mm-hmm.
if you have kids, you
Yeah.
can still do it with kids because I had kids, right? Well, I have, but I had little kids. And what I would do is I give them their own little pocket too. Like this what you do, you soak your feet and you do so that I can step
Yeah.
back. So moms, don't think that you are not able to do it. You just have to be creative. And that's a part of you investing into your wellness account. The
Yep.
other thing, my word for 2024 is sustainable. Or well, all derivatives, sustainable, sustainability, sustaining, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sustain.
Mm-hmm.
Is
Mm-hmm.
it sustainable? Now, going to a spa every month or every week may not be sustainable, but how can you
Mm-hmm.
recreate it, right?
Yeah.
You get you some essential oils, right? Do
Mm-hmm.
your low lights in the tub. You want to go get some rose petals? Go get you some rose petals and put it in the tub. You can recreate those experiences so that
Yeah.
you can relive those experiences.
Mm-hmm.
Your mind knows how it makes your body feel. Even if you're not back
Yeah.
in the spa, you can
Mm-hmm.
recreate that experience while you're at home. Go
Yep.
to discount stores. I mean, you can, especially during the wintertime. That's when I get all my creative diffusers. I just got
Mm-hmm.
but I just got one off Amazon. It's like a little fireplace. Oh my god, it's so cute. But anyway, I
Ooh,
got
sounds
it's
cute.
cute. I'll show it to you. Yeah, but
Okay.
it's like a fireplace, and you just
Mm-hmm.
sitting there looking. It's little, so you ain't in front of no real fire. You like, I'm looking at my fireplace. Right, exactly right. So you can do those things. And for me, that's how I started. So my business actually started as a mobile spa. Right? If
Mm-hmm.
we would do mobile spa parties all over, the
Mm-hmm.
Chicagoland area, that's how it started. Because when I started investing in my wellness and going to spas
Mm-hmm.
and getting massages, I knew how it made me feel, and I wanted to share that. And so
Yeah.
that's how I got into that. So you want to make sure that whatever it is that you like, if that's what you like, put it on your calendar. Just like Cecilia said, put
Mm-hmm.
it on your calendar. Put an alarm in your phone or whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
and this is just your time. But other
Yeah.
people need to respect your time too. You have to have boundaries around that. And if it's your time,
Yeah.
I'm not telling no parent to be mean to your baby. I just told you I had babies too, but them babies can only cry for so long. If they fed, they dry, they
I
safe. And I
know.
listen. Listen, you may have to cry
That's
too
right.
until the baby go to sleep, and then you go and do whatever you need. I'm just saying. I'm not saying be
Absolutely.
abusive to your kid, but you
Mm-hmm.
gotta get your time. You definitely have to get the time.
Absolutely.
And even if
Mm-hmm.
that means incorporating your kids into you being able to do that, because what begins to happen is they begin to see how valuable that is. They
Mm-hmm.
begin to see, oh, like, oh my God, I like taking the bath like this. You got little kids, because the
Absolutely.
tub is big to them. They love it. They down in the tub, they got pedals, and you went and
Right.
spent what? $5 or $10 on a bottle of essential oil. You put your essential
Mm-hmm.
oils in it. You ain't
Mm-hmm.
got to get no candles if you don't want the fumes in your home. Then get
Mm-hmm.
the little electric candles, the little
Yes. Uh-huh.
LED. The LED,
Mm-hmm.
you
Mm-hmm.
got the
LED
LED
candles.
lights, you
That's
got
right.
diffusers with LED. Yeah, you just recreate it, but you want to invest in your wellness account. That's what this is
Mm-hmm.
about. These conversations about being full enough in your wellness account that you give from your overflow. You're not giving
Mm-hmm.
from resources that are scarce. You're
Mm-hmm.
not giving from a scarcity mindset. You're not
Yeah.
giving from a poverty mindset. And a
Correct.
poverty mindset doesn't mean that you're broke. There are a whole lot of people with a whole lot of money who have a poverty mindset.
That's
It is
correct.
that it is the actions that you do with what you have that contributes to that poverty mindset. So that's what I mean. You
Mm-hmm.
don't want to work from a place of lack. And those things you speak out of, you be like, oh child, the struggle is real. You're gonna keep struggling. It's
Right.
gonna be real.
Oh, I'm broke. You know,
Yeah.
I ain't got no
Claim it.
money. Yeah.
Well, unless you got people calling you like, player, I ain't got. I'm just saying, you got people. You got player. Player. Look, I'm looking at you. I'm looking
Right,
at
right.
you. What you got on it?
What you got on it?
What you got on it? But yeah, but that's what we're talking about. We're talking about
Yeah.
all things wellness. So we're gonna have these
Mhm.
conversations all year long. And so yay to Cecilia for checking in with
Mhm.
us. We're
Yeah.
starting with money. We just came off of
Mhm.
the holidays, so some people
Yeah.
are struggling, some people are strapped, and them children ain't even think about all the stuff you spent your money on. I'm just saying they
They're
like
not.
boxes. They like the boxes that the stuff came in more than they like the stuff. I discovered
Little
that.
kids do. Yeah, exactly. It's like, so
They
I
like
just could have
boxes.
got you an Amazon box. Okay.
Right,
Right.
right. But I paid $500 and you want the box. Like you
Right.
want the box. Yeah. So
Absolutely.
that's what we want to talk about. We want to talk about
Yeah.
making those things sustainable so that you can continue to invest in your wellness account.
Mhm.
Where are we on
Mhm.
time? Are we almost there on time?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think we are.
Okay. Okay. So I got a question for you.
Okay.
What was your from the past week? What was your rose and what was your thorn? So the thing that made you go ah, and the thing that makes you go ah.
My rose and my thorn from the past week.
Uh huh.
Rose and my thorn. Um. Hmm. Okay, so my rose was that I finally, I shouldn't say finally, but I did. I sat down and I got my spending plan in order. Like, I don't do it like January 1st, what have you, but getting that out of my head and on paper and seeing all the things that I've done to revise that, and to set goals for myself was, that was my rose. My thorn. I don't know if I had no thorns this week. It's still, yeah, early in I none that I want to share on the
From the
air.
past
No.
week. Okay, yeah, that's cool. Yep, keep. Yeah, 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 yeah. Hey,
I say, yeah, 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 yeah.
they happen. They happen. They happen.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so that's good. I mean, it's been rosy over here. It's been rosy.
That's
Mm-hmm.
good stuff. Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So my roles, I finally started tapping into LinkedIn and trying to figure that out. So I'm navigating
Yes.
a new space. Yeah, so I'm navigating a new space.
Mm-hmm.
And my thorn was just the whole being in the whole social media space as a business owner. So
Mm.
I've had to reevaluate, some of the ways, some of the tactics, the things that
Mm-hmm.
I was doing, in terms of my business on social media. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
coming to the realization. So this is turning into a rose. It was starting off as a thorn, because
Yeah.
I'm like, I this is what I feel. I feel that, and I appreciate all of my supporters out there. I definitely appreciate all my supporters, but I feel that the people who genuinely engage with my content are more readers, because readers are leaders.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying they're more readers. I mean, I'm a wordy person, like wordy in terms of I like words and I like the word plays
Mm-hmm.
and that kind of stuff. And I don't mind reading stuff. Like I'm not
Mm-hmm.
one that you got to grab my attention in 7 seconds because of TikTok. Well, TikTok
Gotcha.
I learned a lot on, but I had to shrink everything. I'm like, you want me to say all this in 7 seconds? Like really?
Right.
Right. So for me, so I was getting frustrated, which is why it was a thorn. I was getting frustrated, but then I just had to
Mm.
sit back. I had to think. I had to pause. I had to breathe, and then realize, well, my people, I think, I don't know yet. We just get into this. I think
Yeah.
my people on YouTube. I think my
Mm-hmm.
people on YouTube, because when you come to YouTube, you are looking for long form content. Like you're
They call it
actually
the
coming.
university,
You,
YouTube
I'm
University.
I'm a student of YouTube Universe, and it dawned on me. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
thank you, Lord. Like, right, while
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to figure this other stuff out, it's like this
Yeah.
was already there for you, and I just have to be. I am okay with it, but I have to be creative in terms of getting in that space now. So it's new. So it's new to me to be, on YouTube, and then as well as being on LinkedIn. So I'm just navigating a new space. So it started as a thorn, but as I started to go through the process, it's turned into a rose. So then next week, it's
Mm-hmm.
gonna be my rose. Not that I have it all figured out, but I just won't see it the same way. If that makes sense,
Mm-hmm.
I won't be looking
Yeah.
at it. It won't. It ain't sticking
Mm-hmm.
me the same way.
Yeah. Right.
All right. Oh, we got Mr. Norm. Thank you, Mr. Norm. He said, great job. Do we have any
All right.
questions or anything, engineer? Any questions? Regina, can you hear me? No questions. All right. So we're gonna begin to wrap up our conversation, but
Yeah.
before we do, I want to tell y'all about this right here. Get this in your life. Get
Ah.
this in your life. If you don't know, it is called the Money Bootcamp. It's a guide to whipping your finances into shape, and it is by our guest today, Cecilia Bailey. So you want to get that book because I love it. So I'm tell y'all why I love it. Part of the reason, I mean, I love it. I love it because I love Cecilia. That's my cousin, y'all. Anyway, but but what I love about it is it is from the perspective of going through getting hiring a personal trainer and all the things that your
Mm,
body will go through in a personal training relationship, in
mhm.
you whipping your body into shape. And then she relates it back to money, so it is so relatable. So don't think you got to know
Yeah.
what's the words like your dividends and your splits, and you don't have to know all that.
Mm-mm.
You don't have to know all that.
Mm-mm. No.
it is
It's
it is
very
a
basic.
yeah, it's a simplistic guide. Well, not simplistic, it is a practical guide
Practical.
to managing your finances, or like you said, whipping your finances into shape. So I say
Hmm.
get that. And Cecilia, can you please share with our guests how they can contact you?
Sure. I would say the best way is probably email. I know that's real old school, but I'm just like not on social media like that. So, so
That's the Gen X. That's Gen X. There you go.
yes, ceciliarbailey at gmail.com. And I do have an Instagram account too. So you can, hit me up there. You could DM me on IG as well. Those are probably the places that I visit and play the most. Yes. Because I'm more of a
Okay.
lurker than a
Right.
poster.
Right.
Yes.
But you can learn from lurking now. You can learn because
Yes, I
that's how I
learned
am
from
on
lurking.
TikTok. Yeah, I learn.
Yes.
I mean, I learn a lot. While I'm over on TikTok. But I mean, I'm so glad
Yeah.
that thorn is being
Yeah, that's
turned
good.
around.
I'm happy for you in that space. Yeah.
Yeah, because it
Mhm.
was getting real frustrating. I'm like, you know what? I'm not about to be twerking. I ain't trying to go viral. You know what I mean? It's like I have very valuable information, and I do know there are people that want the information, but it's billions of people, and then you got to sift through that. And how do you do that? You jump out in front of the class, right?
Yes, with a swimsuit on or something like
I'm good on that. I'm good on
I'm
that.
good on that.
I'm
Yeah.
real good on that. I'm real good. Okay, so if you had to leave um, a precious gem, what
Mhm.
would you leave with our audience?
Wow, precious gem. I wrote some things down here.
Okay.
Um I'm going to say mm, hmm. Make sure that whatever you do, whatever you're investing in, that you love it and take some time to really get to know yourself to determine what your priorities are and lean into that, lean into to what's important to you and not what the world say it should be. Yeah,
Good stuff.
that's what I would say. Mm.
So I'm going to share a pearl of wisdom. Yeah.
Okay.
Learn, if you don't already know, your attitude towards money. Not
Mm,
your ability to make money, your attitude towards money. Example would be, is your attitude towards money, I make money to pay bills. That's one attitude. That's why I make money, because I got to pay bills. Another attitude is, I make money to make money. That's another attitude.
mm-hmm,
Like, I make this money
mm-hmm.
because this money is going to make me more money. And then there's another, I mean, there's plenty, but these are just the three I'm making points on.
Yeah.
Because I know them, and I really know some people that's like that. Then here's the other one. I make money so I can look at my money, like literally. So I can look at my money, I can go on my account and see my money. Like, I ain't gonna spend it. I just need my money to build. I ain't gonna invest it. I just need my money to build. It might be in my mattress. I just
Mm,
want to make more money, right? So we got that,
mm-hmm,
right? So am I
mm-hmm,
making money just to pay bills? Am I making money to make money, or am I, making money so I can watch my money? I don't want to spend it.
mm-hmm,
I just want to
mm-hmm.
watch my money grow. So
Yeah.
know that in addition to that, if you decide to mate up with somebody, child, don't matter who it is. If you mate up with somebody, partner up with somebody, learn their attitude towards money. That will
Absolutely.
make a great difference in the relationship that you have with that person, because you
Mm-hmm,
don't want money to shatter the relationship. You
mm-hmm,
don't want money to interfere with the relationship to where you're not able to grow and thrive in that relationship,
mm-hmm,
because this money is a wedge. Now, I'm not
mm-hmm.
saying go in and give somebody your attitude towards money or your
Yeah.
plan for money. Just learn what theirs is. That's if you're in a
Mm-hmm.
partnership. So if you want to go into
Yeah.
business with somebody, understand their attitude so you can find a middle ground. But in
Mm-hmm.
order to do that, find out your attitude towards money first.
Yeah, I was gonna say yeah, and that to me speaks to your relationship with money. We
Hmm.
spend a lot of time finding a mate. We spend a lot of time finding a career, finding a job, and all the things, but we don't sit down and try to understand and put that time into what is our relationship with money. And you hit the nail, on the head with all of the attitudes about that, because we could be taking on things that our parents that we learned just kind of, just in our upbringing. And then that then became how we attached or identified, or we went the total opposite. Well, my parents were misers, so I'm gonna spend everything I got. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
Or my parents
Correct.
weren't, so I'm gonna save everything. And there is no right or wrong to it, but you're right. When you made up with somebody in business or in love, okay, you want to know how you
Their
are coming to
attitude.
the table. Yes,
Yeah.
theirs and yours.
Yep. And it's good that you say that. So like both of my parents basically said the same thing about money, but kind of like different ways. My mother said, watch a person who balls their money up. Like they don't respect money. Like if they just ball their money up and put it in
Mm,
their pocket, right? And my
interesting.
yeah, and my daddy said if a person's money is not in order, like their life is not in order. Like they basically saying the same thing.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
my mama
yeah.
was the whole pull your corners out, flatten it out, all heads in
Mm-hmm.
the same direction, big
Respecting
bills in the
it.
middle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you respect your money. So yeah, they
Mm-hmm.
said the
Mm-hmm.
same thing, but in different ways. So my
Yeah.
dad was like, if they money, like their physical money, not money in the bank, their physical money and or their life ain't in order. My mom was like, watch the
Mm.
person that ball up their money. So if somebody pull out
Wow.
balled up money, watch them.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Mm.
That's what my
Mm-hmm.
parents had said. That's what my parents
Right.
had
That's what your
said.
parents them had said. Right. I got you.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, I
Yeah.
want to thank you, Cecilia, so much for being with
Oh,
us
you're
here
welcome.
on
This
our
was fun.
Self-FULLness Matters conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And to our audience, to our supporters, we got conversations that will be monthly. We're going to start them off monthly just to see, the traction and to see what you want. If there's something that you want to see, drop it down in the comments. But we do have conversations already lined up. We got heart health, which is next month,
Mm.
February. Yeah, so we got a conversation on heart health. We got hair care that's coming up in March, and we got cleaning your home, like actually eco cleaning of your home. Yeah, we got Tamika from Mika's Cleaning. I'm so excited about that. Yeah,
Yay.
and
Oh, I can't
that
wait to tune in.
the things that people do, and especially us people, the stuff that we be putting in our dishwater. I'm just saying, I ain't gonna get all off into that. But
Mm.
anyway, yeah. But she's an eco cleaner. I don't want to get it wrong, Mika. But yeah, but anyway, she talks about eco cleaning of your home, and that's what we're gonna do,
Okay.
and how you can do it, and you won't break your bank. So it's investing into your wellness account. So we're gonna go
Mm.
from where's the rooter? The rooter to the tutor? Where's the rooter? I'm just
Wherever
saying.
wherever the router starts, wherever the router starts, wherever the tutor ends. Okay.
Right. But we discussing all things wellness all year. We would love for you all to join the conversation. Like this channel, hit the notification bell so that you'll know when we are going live, and share this with somebody who you love, or even if you don't love, you just need them. You need them to get their money in order. I'm just saying, you could like them. You could like them and say, here, listen to this, get your money, and it's practical. We two girls from the South Side of Chicago, baby, straight from
Yes.
Inglewood, straight from Inglewood,
Straight
and
from
we
Inglewood.
we seem to have a pretty good handle on these things. Yep. But on that note, thanks, y'all.